Right, I tell you what, Viv's going to buy the lunch tomorrow when we all go out for lunch. She just wiped the screen and we went off live. Okay, so that's all right. So we're all live now. We're all go, Viv?
Yeah, we're just waiting for people to come back on.
Oh, we're just waiting for people to come back on. That's all right. Don't worry, I'm getting wet. They'll come back on. Hey, look, it's been a fantastic week. It really has. We've been a little bit worried. We thought we might get some real dodgy questions and things like that, or some, what do you call them, internet warriors just asking silly questions, but we haven't experienced that at all. It's been great. So right, so we're getting a few people back now. That's great. So look, Fee mentioned about the mobility, and just to cover off our Australian clients, in Australia we have our ground lowering trailer. Now that is one that you let the winch out, the whole trailer lowers to the ground, okay, and as it lowers to the ground the roof comes up, so you got shade, protection from the rain, you can hang your dagging plants up, drenching, vaccinating, indicator, everything all hangs from the roof, and it doesn't take very long to set up. It takes longer to wind the winch out than it does to get it to be set up and going. So now that is not available in New Zealand. It hasn't been the uptake of those in New Zealand, so we've discontinued them and we're manufacturing them in St Arnaud, Victoria. Okay, so if you want to put your Combi clamp, because you're sick of setting it up and unsetting it and doing all of that, you might want to put it on a Combi trailer. So in Australia, a Combi trailer, a beer trailer, so as you can put your existing Combi clamp on, is going to cost you $8,500 plus GST. Okay, so it's all hot dip galvanised, it's road legal, safety chains, lights, mud guards, and it's under 750 kilos, so it's unbraked. You can put panels on it and stuff like that if you're wanting to go out in the paddock, and so you got one unit that's racing around and to do the job. So yes, that's well worth it. Or you could buy a second Combi clamp. It's up to you. Okay.
What I've actually just done is posted a link in the comments below this with the page on our website that's got that ground lowering trailer. It's hard to imagine what he's talking about. He does his best, but there's pictures and what have you on the website there on that page.
Yeah, beauty. Okay, no, that's excellent. The main point with that ground lowering trailer is we keep it going to the ground. Now, the floor of that handler there is 400 mils off the ground. Now, the reason why we have a ground lowering trailer rather than putting it on a standard box trailer or whatever you call it in Australia, you end up with the floor of the Combi clamp would be this high, so sort of getting close to a metre off the ground. Now, the reason why those systems don't work is the fact that the sheep cannot see the processed sheep out the front. So that's why we had to have a ground lowering trailer to get those sheep to run successfully, and the way to get them to run is to see sheep out in front, directly in front. Right, I'm going to leave my raincoat on and I'm going to pass Fee the hat because it's got the microphone there. I'll put windscreen wipers on my glasses.
Alright, I hope everyone can hear me loud and clear. I'm going to do the commentating, okay? So while Wayne puts this standard unit and three-way draft on 2 wheels. So we'll just prep our pieces. Those are the three-way draft extension handles. So you can draft sheep from the back of the crush, usually while you're dagging and weighing at the same time. So first thing is to get the draft off the handler. Those 2 pins you might see from a distance there, they just slot into some grooves, some box section at the end of the handler. There's always an easy way to lift these components around. There is a bit of weight in them, and that's because we use quality material, 2.5mm wall thickness box section, and you do get a little bit of weight, but that's to create a product that's going to last a long time, especially in a harsh environment. Whether it's here or by the sea, it's all hot dip galvanized. So So he's just taken off those gates off the approach race. That just takes a lot of weight out of that approach race. Shifted the anti-jump rails back, and he's ensured that the wall brace in the race is fitted. That stops the walls from squeezing together. So with that race out of the way, just turn to the side, he's able to tip the handler over onto its end. That's really easy to do, not a huge amount of weight. Now he's going to do the sprint to the axle and bring that over. There's, as he mentioned, there's notches on the bottom of the handler for it to sit in, and there's a long end and a short end. The long end needs to go under the pressure plate of the handler, and the other one out the other side. That pin's up there for safekeeping. Cool, now we've got the drawbar. That's got to get the toe coupling in the right direction before you lift it up, and thread it down through the handler, through the axle there, and into the bottom of the handler. That pin just connects that that intersecting point between the drawbar and the axle, and that locks it all in place. Such a simple attachment to the base of that handler. Now with that extra long drawbar there, it's easy to tip over and control its descent onto the ground and wheel it over to the approach race. This approach race is 1.9 meters long. It is harder to handle by yourself with the length, which is why we bring the handler close and just use that wheel as a seesaw pivot point, just to rotate that approach race onto the handler. Cool. If you're putting a standard unit onto the wheels, you put the gates on, and that's the job done. You tie it down. Okay. We're also going to put the three-way draft on, just as an extra handy little demonstration. So that's what we call the big gate. It's actually a wall, and here goes the stop gate and bifold gate. You're not going to lose those bouncing down the road, because there's hinge locks that rotate down and stop those gates from jumping off. Okay, right, so now we're going to wheel this a bit closer. He's got to go uphill, a bit closer to the three-way draft. He's guessing that he's got the right distance there, just to make it about the distance of the draft away from the handler. Tip it up and actually get that portable yard joiner around the right way, and just roll it on top of the handler itself. The hardest bit is just getting the moving it over the rubber on the floor of the handler, because there's lots of grip there.
It's actually easier if you tip it up the other way, so that it's sliding downhill.
It's actually easier if you tip it up the other way, so it's sliding downhill. But we're working with what we've got on the front lawn here at Colleton. Right, now it's time to tie it down so it doesn't all bounce off on the road. These tie downs they come out with the wheel attachments. They've got a couple of little bits of blue lay flat tube with them, and those are to go on those corners where you might wear through your tie downs. So we're looking after you there. So here he's got one on the back there that sits on top of that yard connector on the end of the approach race. That's where you'd put a pin down for whether it's your curved race or your lead up race in your yards. Cool. We won't click that down too tight, just enough to hold it there, otherwise we'd pull our approach race forward on the pressure plate. He reckons generally do the front one first, but that's alright. Our other little bit of blue lay flat tube is on the gate latch. That's the other potential rub point. Cool, and that's done up nice and tight. We'll just give ourselves a bit of a circular of this so we can see. There's that bit of blue lay flat. Tie down up there, around there, and around this nice round edge on the back there. Cool, and it's actually really secure. Weight of this,
the handler itself is 125 5 plus the approach trace, so that's 200 plus the draft at 53, 253, so 280 odd, 280 maybe 300 kilos with a drawbar and axle set, so you can safely tow this with a four-wheeler or yeah, that's better, or roar along the road with a ute. Look, I've got...
You better get back under the tent, the rain's coming back in.
The rain's coming. Okay, let's get under the tent just to save the camera so that you guys can see clearly. We'll wheel this out of the way. Okay, so while I've been chatting there, we've got a couple of things. Oh, thanks Trish, it is commitment being out in this weather. There we go.
Okay, beauty. Alright, yeah, so what we might do, the weather's actually not that bad. What we could possibly do is go over there and we'll run a few sheep through. I want people to realise that you can use a combi clamp on your own, because it hasn't got electronic eyes and things like that. You can still definitely use it on your own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a few tricks, okay? So we'll go over there and we'll go over a few things. There'll be some people here that haven't seen us in previous days, so I reckon if we just duck over there and are we going to
Take the tent? Yeah, we need the tent.
Okay.
We'll take the tent.
So Viv's going to look after the audio and the camera, and we'll go over there and we'll take the raincoat off the dagging plant. You're not going to trip over that, eh, Viv? Nah. She's a bit frazzled because she managed to kill our Facebook Live, but that's alright. She did say that she was going to buy us all lunch when we go out for lunch tomorrow.
I need an extra foot. Couple of inches.
Okay.
It all needs to be
Rightio. So here we go. The tent's starting to move just in case it gets a bit. So what we've got here is we have got the weigh gear attachments. So that one that I put on wheels was a standard unit and a three-way draft. So we've got that here. There's our standard unit to here, and we've got our three-way draft. Now what we've got here extra is our weigh gear attachments, our gadget holder that holds onto all of our accessories, and our anti-backing ramp down there, which works exceptionally well, a must for somebody who's working on their own with possibly a dog chasing up. And of course we're running some True Test load bars, MP800s rather than the 600s. If you're going to use 600s, you need to have a really good surface, and you need to keep reasonably close to the clamp, because we've got 300 mils under the sheep and 300 mils under the operator. So if you're going to use 600 mil load bars, don't stand right out here on the edge, okay? You need to be leaning on the clamp, and that's where you're generally operating anyway, so that's fine. Gallagher got 1000 mil load bars. True Test has got the MP800s, so anything like that, any of those reputable brands will do a good job for you. Okay, right, so I reckon we get some sheep up and we'll go from there.
Start with a bit of multitasking.
Yeah, we can start with a bit of multitasking. Okay, that's audio cord. Ooh. So actually I'll tell you what, Viv will come over here. That gate's shut. Yeah, gate's shut so the sheep can't get through. So we are going to, Lindley's jumping in there. We'll get a few sheep into that pen. And Viv, I'll tell you what, if you focus on that anti-backing ramp down there, I just want you to see sheep going over the top of that. Okay, fill the pen thing. Now, as they go over here, okay, sniff that. Now, once they're over that, they can't get back, okay? Come on, matey, get over there. That's it. So, it's 100%. Nothing gets back over it. The trick is it's 300 mils high, Okay, it's much better than a standard hock rail going through, because if you have a hock rail too high, half of these lambs would put their head underneath it and get stuck. So it just makes life a lot easier if you've got something like that. Now, what we've got is, I'm going to leave my cable on that side, that's all cool. So, unlock it. Oh yeah. So I can safely do the catching on my own. You right there?
Yeah. You alright?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we can all work together. So Fiona could be drenching, I could duck in here and give it a bit of a tidy up. If I want to shift it forward, I can. Okay, and I can get in there easily enough. Oh man, that's quite slippery with a bit of oil and a bit of rain on it. So I can get in there and tidy up a few lambs. Come on. Okay. Okay, nice and easy. Okay, that's not hard. Let's just say I've let one a bit far and I still want to dag it. Hey Fee, can you just back that up? So we open it up and she backs it up and I re-catch it. So you can actually quite easily do all this work here, and you can shut that gate if you really need to. If we're not dagging, we can lock that one in. Lock that one in, Fee. If we're just, I don't know, putting, we had a message from a client this morning that he hasn't had his combi clamp very long. He's run his 2000 U's through and dipped them. So at this time of the year, it's definitely not fly, so it's obviously a dip for lice. Now I know he's not going to have a lice problem, because every one of the sheep that he's dipped has been dipped and applied properly. Not in a race where they're jumping all over each other and rubbing it off. I mean, just like those sheep back there, something jumps on top and they wipe half of it off. So every sheep gets dealt with properly. And that's actually it's not a bad idea to use the lamb wall, because it gives us a broader area to apply the pour-ons. Also putting tags in, mouthing, drafting. So yeah, a couple of people can work on here. Remember, if we hit the bottom, see that's only just hitting the bottom there, so even if Fiona was standing on here, we're not going to over squeeze this. Okay, so yes, we can do all the work like that. Catch, stop. So these sheep are wet. Hey, I know I'm outside and I'm getting wet because we're not under a roof, but if we had covered yards, I can deal with wet sheep. I can dag wet sheep all day without getting drenched. So that means when it does stop raining, we can fill the sheep with shed ready for shearing. Okay, some of these things that Linny and I actually take for granted. So yeah, no, that's excellent. So what we'll do is I'll shut that and then we'll start talking about a little bit of weighing. So we'll turn those scales on. They're a bit, they will be impossible to see through my glasses anyway. So what we do is we turn our scales on, we make sure it's on 0, and what we do is we'll just wander around and just make sure that when I go back to the other corner, that it does actually go back to 0. Don't be too perturbed about the weights moving if I'm jumping around. Okay, that's no different to a lamb jumping around inside a weigh crate. Okay, at least when you're weighing with a combi clamp, you're weighing sheep and you've got them caught, so their whole body's caught, so there's minimal movement, and then you can get an accurate weight. Okay, so I open that gate there and I go back there, I chase that lamb up, and that's weighed. Okay, 46.1. We'll draft that one off. Here comes another one. I can still comfortably go down the race and catch a sheep. If for example there is no sheep there, I can lock that sheep in and I can wander down here and fill up the race. Get all these sheep over this anti-backing ramp here, because with those sheep over there, it's just like a gate. So if a dog can jump in there and just sit there quietly, It's actually very effective. Notice there's very, very little noise. Okay. Now, something I didn't mention was it's 0 there. Now you watch this. When I get off, that'll go negative my body weight. Okay, so it's got a negative 91.4 kilos. I've got about a kilo of water on me today. Don't laugh, Viv, you're as wet as me. So so you can lock your sheep in there, you can weigh it. If it's underweight, you can drench it, or you can give it a B12 and draft it off, so they're only going through the yards once. Okay, this is why a lot of our Australian clients are actually using their Combi clamp wholly and solely for the entire weaning process. A couple of clients that I know have done trials on doing it the old way with drafting and then weighing lambs and then mouthing ewes or uddering ewes and all of that. So everything's done. So you've got 2 people on the machine. You've got one working with the back end, uddering or dagging or doing something like that, and the other end's drafting and working the scales. Yeah. Have you got any other questions there, Fee?
No, but I will just draw on another phone conversation I had this morning. The phone's been busy.
Yes.
We had somebody who's going to be buying their second Combi clamp soon.
Yes.
And he said, I just think it's fast now, but I reckon it can be so much faster with 2 handlers. I said, funny you say that, because if you've got multiple properties, you can have a handler on each property, that's all good, but when it comes to a big job, you can have 2 handlers. And we actually talked about it, the weaning process. There's a few jobs.
Yes.
And you could actually have your normal drafting race. Drafting one way can be the ewes. They go up into a handler and they get uddered and mouthed and drafted to culls and keepers. And the lambs can be going the other way and getting weighed. And
going over a Combi clamp and getting weighed and drafted into 3 miles. Yeah, when you've got 2 Combi clamps, you can either set them up on a Y. Let's say we're dagging, okay? I built the Combi clamp for dagging and dagging only. Never dreamt we'd use it for any other job. So, I mean, look, when Bill Parks owned the property and I was managing up there and we had 11,000 ewes, we'd set up 2 Combi clamps. Bill or Neil and I would be on a Combi clamp each. Neil was left-handed, and I'm right-handed, so it worked so great. And then Linley was down there because these ones were only this big. Linley would be feeding up sheep to Neil and I, and we actually smoked through it. Okay, we were doing thousands. We'd never had any idea that it'd turn into something like this, that you could use it for other things.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The faster the sheep are going through the handler, the better the sheep flow in the race. So it actually wasn't a hard job for Mum keeping up to the 2 handlers, because dagging, if the sheep are real dirty, it can be a slightly slower job.
A lot slower.
Yeah, a lot slower, yeah. And it can slow things down in the race. But with 2 people dagging, fed by one race,
yes,
moved things way better, and it was easy.
You'll never do twice the number with 2 handlers. You'll do another 80% more with the second handler, but you've only got one person feeding it. Feeding 2 handlers, that's where you save serious time and effort, money. So that's a seriously good idea. Yeah, I mean points of difference. I mean, we are not a $25,000 or a $35,000 machine. I mean, this unit here, excluding the scales, is what, bit over 9.5 in Australia, and I mean 2 of them, so that's 18, 19.
You can get 2 of these for what you'd buy one
pneumatic machine for.
Yeah.
So
and no maintenance.
Yeah, no maintenance, very little noise. The noise is a big thing, and we've got no sudden movements. This rubber wall here, we only move a little weeny bit, okay? As the sheep exits. Just flick a couple of sheep up there, Fee. Okay, so I've caught that one, and now when I go to let it go, I only open this a very, very little bit. Okay, let that one slide in. Okay, that is the secret, especially with exotic sheep and things like that. If there's any sudden movement in front of them, the first thing they're upside down, turned around and gone. So yeah, it's really, really important. Okay. Set up in yards. Lindley, a voice from the depths at the back there. The biggest thing is to have sheep out in front. Okay. If you're getting a new set of yards, or you're thinking about getting a new set of yards, this is actually really, really important. New set of yards. Don't order the set of yards and get the yard designer to leave a gap for it somewhere, or put an offshoot off the side of the yards to put your combi clamp. That might be alright for your scanner that comes once a year or something like that, or a purpose-built crutching machine might turn up once a year. Put it as a appendage hanging out the side of your yards. You need your combi clamp in the central part of the yards, okay, because you will use it all the time. Yeah, it's just one of those things that once you've got a combi clamp, you won't use your drenching race and things like that. You will use it for a lot of jobs.
Okay, we've got a comment from an existing customer here. They love their combi clamp. Hoof trimming and ultrasounding is super easy. We covered ultrasounding a little bit yesterday.
A little bit, yeah.
Weighing lambs is easy and quick, and the second handler helps with young lambs. The only issue they have is that they can fit the head between the triangle panel, the wing on the draft, and the end of the clamp when they're exiting. So just that gap there. So this is a good follow-up thing.
This is excellent. Now
we
we
might have to go around you.
no, we're good. Right, okay. Now, when you get your combi clamp, especially clients in Australia, they will have to assemble a three-way draft and put our draft wings in. Okay. Now, some people have been known to put the plastic here on the inside, put the gates on the wrong sides. I don't know how they manage that because the springs are already connected, but some people are putting their draft wings in like this. Okay. Now what happens there is we've actually narrowed down the width here because the plastic's gone on the inside of the uprights of the posts, we'll call it. So it's made it quite narrow. So that means that when we open the clamp, there's a gap here. That increases the gap. And the other one would be, the other reason why there might be the odd one trying to poke their head out is not only this plastic, but if they've got it set up on scales for weighing, they might have forgotten to, and I know my microphone cord's not going to get there for you, you might have to go over there and you can point it out. Now, that block there on the bottom by Fiona's hands there, what that does is, because the whole combi clamp's on load bars, you actually have to have that block under there to lift the bottom of the draft up, otherwise this gap opens too much because the ramp gets quite steep. And the other one is to make sure that you haven't got too much gap here. So that ramp stand is adjustable, okay? So that hand that wing bolt is done up there, that will slide backwards and forwards depending on how much gap you want here, down here, okay? Because when you're weighing, you don't want anything touching. So that three-way draft, quiet, Kate. That three-way draft cannot touch the combi clamp. Whew, that was close to our microphone cord. Kate. That's alright. Everything happens on live TV. Okay.
They say never film animals and children.
Never film animals and children. Yeah, well, we've got animals. Yeah. And Kate, she's our child. Yeah. So, right, I reckon, is there any other questions there, Fiona? No, that's all good. So what I'm going to do is I won't put a drench pack on because it's a bit hard with this, but I will show you some drenching technique. Unlock that clamp in there. Now, okay, see this? See? No. Lock that one in there. I'll just duck back here. So remember, this is me doing it on my own. Okay, that'll do, Kate. No, that'll do, Kate. That'll do, Kate. That'll do, Kate. That'll do, Kate. Get up. That'll do. That'll do, Kate. That'll do, Kate. Oh, she's not going to get in there. This is not our normal yard. It's amazing how the dogs get used to a normal yard. Okay, stay there, Kate. So, right. So, drenching as if now, you can have your drench gun there and you can have your cord going across here, but I don't really like that because I'm dead scared of an animal trying to fly over here. They don't try and get out that side because of the gadget holder, okay? So I drench. Remember, I'm right-handed. Hand on there, gone. Meh, meh. Drench. Hand on the top, gone. Now watch what my feet are doing. Watch what my left foot's doing. Okay? And my left hand. Good girl, Kate. Drench. Okay, drench. You see what I mean about the height of this wall? Now these lambs are, you know, 46 kilos here. Imagine if you had a 25 kilo lamb, you would put that little lamb cushion wall in. Okay, so drench. But these sort of lambs, whoop, there we go, drench. So I'm catching them nice and early. So what's actually happening, I mean, that sort of speed there, that's easy 550 an hour. Okay, by having somebody to open and close the gates and a handy sort of a dog. I mean, when we were doing serious numbers back up in Taiapi, I'd have a dog in the yards just keeping this up, and then Lindley would have another one filling, because it takes quite a while to get 5,000 or 6,000 sheep through the yards. So yeah, but that's very good. So yeah, backlining, vaccinating, we've got our draft handle there, pop that over there out of the way. I come in behind here, behind the ear, chunk. Okay, all I'm doing is coming in on a slight angle. There's lots of different vaccinating techniques. So I've got hold of them by under the jawbone with my left hand, and I'm just coming in behind the ear down here, there. Okay, nice and easy. Backlining, or another one is getting in their wet drying sheep. Okay, checking udders and drafting. That one's gone. Yep, that one's good. Okay, meh, meh. Here they come. Oh, I wasn't watching that one, but see how easy it is for me to reposition. I'm not having to use my hands to adjust anything, and all it is I can walk from one end to the other, remember? Okay, and that sheep's stuck. I can come down here and check it, I can wander up there, and when I want to let it go, all I do is just shift a bit of weight to there and let it go. You've got to feel comfortable standing on here with 2 feet. Okay, I don't want to see people standing there just using it with 1 foot. Once you've got it caught, stand on it there, and then it makes it real easy. Okay, we've got our foot pairers here, we've got all our needles and our gadget holder, our vaccines, everything for hanging stuff up. It stops the sheep from jumping out. We've got our anti-jump rails forward. If we want a crutch, all we do is we pull these out. So there, and I will take this little gate off. If you're just dagging sheep, take that off. This is what I designed it for. Now I'm going to try not to cut my audio cable. Yeah, pull my ear off. Man, this is slippery, this handpiece. It really, really is. Okay. So I'll let that one go. Nah. Catch it real early and ease it in, okay? And get in there, do whatever you like, okay? A little bit of dag down there. These lambs are actually going next week, so I should have been doing the whole lot. There's only a few here, okay? Nah. Catch it real early. Notice I'm not shutting the gate. Come on. Now don't hamstring anything on live TV, okay? Good girl, Kate. Big sweep there, swing around here. Come on, sticky dag there. Haven't dagged many sheep for a while. Oh, I've got to put 2 feet on the pressure plate too. Now that I've been telling you all about that. That's alright. Now, notice that second sheep is quite handy, but happy because it's got a mate right in front of it. It's not worried about the handpiece at all. See that sheep there? He's trying to get out the other side. He can't because of our gadget holder there. Okay. The noise of the handpiece stops him from trying to get out. Oh, now this is a bit of a shitty one. What I'll do is I'll back that one up. Woohoo, that was close to the audio cord. Who saved me that one? Okay. He's a little bit far in, but that's alright. That's alright. Now, when I open that gate, the dags fly out. Hey, notice something else? I haven't turned my handpiece off. Okay, here's my... That one's done. Hey, Kate. Kate. Good girl. So, now, I'll tell you what. This is something for a pneumatic machine. What you got to do when you got a dog chasing up, once you've finished, you let them come up. Hey, Kate. Good girl. See? They want to be here. Okay, so that if you give your dog a bit of praise for doing a good job, they want to get those sheep up here. Okay, little Kate. No, come here. Well, little Kate, come here. Good girl. Where you go? Now, if a dog ran through a pneumatic one, bang! So, Combi clamp's really good. It's nice and comfortable. I dag all day. I hardly ever turn my handpiece off. Yeah, you do get a few dags floating around, but wool's not worth much. If you do want to catch every dag, shut the gate every time. But I don't like stopping the flow. Get outside, Kate. I don't like stopping the flow. The beauty is keeping sheep flowing. And you can do that with a Combi clamp because there's very little noise. It's only that thing there, that handpiece, that makes noise. And as Fee's just said, the noise of a handpiece is constant. Okay? Nice gap to just duck in there and do it. Okay, shut the gate to start with if you're just going to buy it to dag lambs. Great for a feedlot situation. Yeah, it just works really well.
Oh, well, I feel like we haven't got any new questions, but that's okay. If anyone else has got questions, I know today this is our last live, but you can still ask the questions. You can still ring us 0800 227 228 for our Kiwis. And
1800 449 561 for the Australian clients. Hey, look, and if you leave a message, just expect me ringing back from an international phone number. I'm not a telemarketer, and I'll only try and ring you back once, and then it's up to you to ring me. So we don't hassle people at all. If you want it, yeah. So just while seeing as our last one, I just want to thank all these people that have been selling the Combi clamp for us for years. The likes of Bob Ritchie, Ritchie Agriculture in Scotland. They've been manufacturing for a long time now and doing a great job. I'm impressed every year they're selling more and more, predominantly because they're taking on more countries that they're selling to. More recently, Huber Ag in Canada, so Myrna and Marlin, yeah, they're great. They're so behind Combi clamp and the reason why they're behind Combi clamp is the feedback they're getting from clients, how positive it is. So yeah, they're the contacts. So Huber Ag and Adam, our WA agent, he's over there supporting Nutrient Ag over there. Man, he went to school with our girls years ago and he's come on board with us, so yeah, he's born Combi clamp.
Yeah, it's great to have a friend across the ditch who loves the stuff as much as we do. So
yeah, oh yeah, it's great. So yeah, and Stuart Oliver,
Stuart Oliver.
He's been with us right from the start, and he's been swearing he's been going to retire for at least the last 2 years. But for those who know Stuart Oliver down in the South Island, yeah, I got a lot of respect for Stuart. He's done an excellent job. So he will have to retire. He's just had his 70th birthday not long ago. So
You probably shouldn't be telling them how old he is.
good on Stuart. Yeah, so congratulations for all those years with us and all those people that have helped, and our staff in the workshop who are doing a fantastic job. We all have our hiccups, and if something should go wrong, they really feel bad about it. I mean, we're all human, but look, I believe we're doing a great job. People love the product, and our film team over the field days have done really well. So, and I'll just thank Viv in advance for buying us lunch tomorrow for her blooper.
We had the most viewed watches that we'd ever had.
But no, that's all good. So, hey, thanks for everybody watching. Yeah, I hope you've learned something. And existing clients, I hope you've learned something. And if not, well, look, we'll see you at the field days when they get going again. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so thank you. That's excellent.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.